Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing?
My name is Lillian. I'm here with the UBC Students for Freedom of Expression with Angela Dawson, also known as Roller Girl. She's here to tell us about her experiences in Vancouver and her time as a transgender activist. So thank you so much for being here, Angela.
Cool.
So I just wanted to start out with asking you about your political career. What made you want to run for mayor and now Parks Board?
Because I just totally don't agree with all the pollution, all the violators, all the corruptions, as in criminals. Okay, next question.
Okay. So for mayor, then what made you be passionate about Parks Board in particular? Do you think that the parks are being run improperly at the moment? And what will you do differently?
I think what I would do differently is get more activities, get more active, more better health you are in. There's got to be more green space.
Okay.
Reason why I ran for mayor, because there should be, I don't know, free daycare, maybe housing for women and children and mothers and fathers is very hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks.
No listeners yet.
And you mentioned on our phone conversation the other day that you had faced some injustices from specifically like community housing in Vancouver. What can you tell us about that? What was your experience, and how do you think that can be changed? Like with Carnegie housing and...
As a transgender woman, I feel that people don't identify me as a woman, and I feel that I don't know, I just feel very sometimes scared.
Okay.
Every housing that Carnegie Outreach got me, it was designed for mental health. I have no mental health problems. I have no addiction problems.
Mm-hmm.
I have no alcohol problems. I'm a fitness addict, and I just launched a t-shirt. What was it called?
It's on Bonfire.
Bonfire under Instagram. Click the link and please support Roller Girl Vancouver. I'm a legend and I won't stop. I'm very, very nervous, but I'll probably end this interview and thinking like, oh my god, I should have said this and should have said that. But
well, we'll try to get everything covered here then. I know you mentioned before, and you were very passionate about saying that certain transgender women get different treatment than others. What did you mean by that, and what has that been in your experience?
I don't know, most people, I guess, are jealous because I have a clothing line and I fight for people's rights, and maybe I shouldn't have went after the cops, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
What the press put on the ads or whatever.
So you would say like less politically active trans women are treated better in Vancouver?
I think the phone is doing something to the microphone. If you could support it on something else.
Oh.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was getting some static. Yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Continue.
So yeah, you say it could be because of your political activism that you're not treated as well as other trans women who...
Yeah, and because I'm on social media, people click on it and says, well, it says this and this and this and this, and I was scared at 801 East 6th Avenue, and when I first moved in there, Sue, the manager, says, well, she gets picked on too, so please stick up for yourself. But it came to a point that I went to the Tennessee board, and I could have won the case, but she had no witnesses at the time, and the only problem that they have of me was basically it was a bed bug problem, but that's not my problem.
Okay.
So all the possessions that I do own is no longer mine. It's was taken away from Carnegie Outreach. They came up and said to me, "Oh, we're happy to take your life." They didn't take my happiness or my life, but what they have done is took all my dresses, took all my coins, took all my mobilia, took all my Tiffany lamps, took all my JJ Bean lamps, took everything, took all my dresses. If anybody would love to donate to Roller Girl, do so, because I do need the compassion. I don't need people come up to me and say, "Oh, I like your clothing, but I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to buy your stuff." It's very hurtful that the panhandlers get out there and they get help, and
Right.
they look at me and they think I'm sort of a little crazy because I love people. Einstein was crazy, but he became very popular, and he developed electricity. So I'm just trying to develop different electricity to people should be more warming, more helpful, more.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did Carnegie give you any justification for why they stole your things, or
Basically, the sheriffs took my stuff, and Carnegie Outreach were trying to get me other housing, but that didn't work out.
so they said they were just keeping it temporarily, but then they never returned
Well, basically, they kept my stuff for many years in storage, and they knew how much stuff I had. I had an 8x10 storage full of collectibles. Just imagine, I had enough stuff here to fill this. What is this? An 8x8, 8x6?
it. Could be, yeah.
But I had enough stuff to fill this whole place up, plus the closet.
Okay, yeah, wow.
So I phoned the Royal Mint, and I can track all my coins.
Oh, good.
So I have the human rights case coming up in
Yeah, what can you tell us about that? What
in March
sparked
and
that?
April. What do you mean?
What was the inciting incident? Why are you pursuing this case?
Oh, I couldn't take a bath. I couldn't dilate. I have to dilate because I have a vagina. Okay, and without dilating, you are going through torture. So when you go through the surgery, the thing is you have to dilate every week, or there's going to be punishment.
Okay.
And unfortunately, me as a trans woman, I was punished as a female, and it's just really.
Was the same thing with your lawsuit against the city that you won as well, right?
Well, yeah, if the whole thing projects to suing the cops.
Right. What can you tell us about that first lawsuit that happened a few years back, where you won pretty large sum of money? How did that change your life?
I didn't have control of the money.
Okay.
It was babysitted to me. It was like, oh, here's $50, here's $200, here's $50, here's $50. Like, it was so traumatizing that I couldn't do $15,000. That's a slap in the face for harassment for such a long time. It's discriminating.
Right. Okay.
You know, and I go in front of the tenancy board, or not the tenancy board, but the human rights case, and the lawyer says, "Oh, you can only get 5,000. That's the maximum." That's like a shit on a stick. That's not even gonna cover my cost of my coins that I collected through 15 years. You know.
Okay. Have you received acceptance from the local trans activism and LGBTQ community in Vancouver?
I have nothing to do with them.
Okay, so you're not affiliated.
No.
Okay, but do you participate in like pride events, anything like that, or do you do?
Oh, I jumped in the pride event when I was skating.
Okay.
But was I invited on the float or anything like that? Not really.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just stretching here.
Do you feel like left out by that community a bit?
Yeah, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel that there's no help. I feel that also transgender men, they get more liberty than transgender women.
Oh, okay. And why do you think that is?
I'm not saying all,
But overall.
overall picture. Overall
Okay.
picture because they're so-called a man.
Right. So you think it's
It's
from...
sexist.
Okay.
It's just everything I guess is evolved around sexism.
I gotcha. Okay. How do you think about how society is treating transgender people today versus when you were growing up?
It's very hard for a transgender woman to sort of get a business going because I don't know. To me, everybody's the same until somebody else treats me different.
Okay.
There's a transgender man who works at Casca. Broadway. He didn't treat me right. He just treated me like I was a third-class citizen. I asked him for the bigger hole of the honey so I don't have to squeeze so hard for the honey to go into my latte or Americano.
Mm-hmm.
So he refused. 3 times I asked him, I said, can I please have the other honey? No. So next day I call him a dickhead. Well, you're a man, so therefore you have no problem to accept me to call you a dickhead because you got a dick. But, as in, I didn't know, to me, I accepted everybody.
Right. Okay.
I accepted transgender men, transgender women, gays, lesbians, whatever.
What do you think about now there's been a lot of cases of children transitioning. Do you believe that young children, around 10 years old, do you think they should be able to transition? Did you...
Fuck, I transitioned since I was little. Very, very tiny. And I didn't stop, as you see.
So you knew at a very young age?
Yeah.
What made you discover that? What was there a moment that you knew? Or did you just always sort of know?
I just sort of just felt as a female all the time. So.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to talk
about?
I
want to take a time out.
Hello, this is Lillian Crossman, back with the UBC Students for Freedom of Expression with Angela Dawson. We're back here to just elaborate more on some things that she wanted to speak about. I just wanted to start with, you were talking about a video that you had on your YouTube channel called Attack. So I just wanted you to go through the story of what happened with that, and who was that person who attacked you?
It was a guy, and I didn't want to assault him or anything. I had my GoPro, and he slammed the door on my ribs numerous times. The cops came. They didn't do really an investigation. So men have the right to assault me in any way, and the BDP won't protect me in no way.
Okay. So that was just another incident to strengthen your distrust in men?
Yeah, that's just...
Where did that distrust start? What was the first incident?
What do you mean? There's lots of incidents.
But was there something that happened in your childhood? Or has it just been an accumulation of a lot of events?
Accumulation.
Okay. Could you tell us more about your experience with communal housing around Vancouver? What groups do you not trust? Have there been any good ones?
Oh, all groups.
Okay. Where are you living currently?
I'm living at the View at was it Cordova and Powell?
Okay.
So.
And that place has been good for you?
I really don't like it because it's an ex-junk tank. It's an ex-jail.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Speaking of which, could you go through what your experience was when you were misgendered and mistreated in jail? What was that whole process like?
Oh, when I first came back from my surgery?
Yeah, could you just tell the whole story about that for people who may not be familiar?
Okay. I'd rather do a reenactment of the movie that I was in the film festival year 2017, I think. It's called LUK capital I. You can look it up. But when they first grabbed me, they called me by my male name, and a male grabbed my arm and basically dragged me to prison. And
Can you share what you were there for?
because they said I had a breach of something, but still I just came back from Montreal. I need to go home and dilate. If I don't dilate, there's consequences. So
Okay.
when they put me there, I can remember that I pulled down whatever they gave me to wear, and I said, "Hey, I just had my change. Let me go home." But they refused to let me go home, and I laid down and I tossed and turned, and in agony, I was bleeding, and so the nurse came around next morning and said, "Well, here's some Vaseline," and I said, "What am I supposed to do that? What am I supposed to finger myself and basically rupture my vagina? No, I'm supposed to be at home dilating with my dilators, and yeah, there's serious consequences.
So
if
how long after your surgery did that take place?
a week?
Oh, okay, so it was very soon. All right.
Like I was like a newborn getting tortured
Mm-hmm.
and humiliated.
So how long did that mistreatment go on for? Were you there for a night, a couple weeks?
Oh, I was just there for overnight.
Just, okay, one night.
And when I came back, I went home and I started dilating. Oh man, the blood was so gushing out. And that's the graphics that the first movie that Wayne, my director, didn't really get. They didn't really get the turnovers and the torture that I don't know, just
that you went through?
I'd rather do a reenactment. So if there's any directors out there that is listening, yeah, I'm ready to do another reenactment of the real stuff instead of fiction and real.
Okay. So then once you were no longer being held by the police, what happened after that? Did you start the process yourself? Did a lawyer come up to you and ask if you wanted to pursue this?
No, I started pursuing this before my change. I pursued it because they were basically harassing me, and I went to Atira to start a complaint, and yeah, it's just okay. A whole bunch of different stuff that's
Do you
harassment by the BDP.
Has it gotten better since 2010?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
Okay. All right. You, when we met earlier, you mentioned about how you thought that the police should crack down more on people who are doing less than desirable things, such as like sex trafficking and dealing drugs. So if you became mayor, can you just tell us what, how you would deal with that?
I prefer not to talk about that right now.
Okay.
Let's talk about how we were talking on the phone.
Okay.
Let's get with that one. Oh, here. Wavies. Yes, yes.
Okay, so, yeah, you said that we talked about this earlier on the interview, but I just wanted you to maybe elaborate more about how you've seen other trans women be treated better in community housing than you've been treated yourself.
Because they have friends and support.
Okay.
So, yeah, so she's wearing my shirt, just to let you know.
Okay. What about the interview that you did with TJ on Toast? Do you think that that represented you well? I know that there was a bit of controversy about how the video was edited. Can you just tell us about that?
Whatever happened 30 years ago happened 30 years ago. It doesn't make me the person now. And I was charged for manslaughter.
Okay.
And I didn't really want to bring this up, but whatever happened back in the 90s, this is year 2020. Or almost.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just...
You don't like to talk about your past?
No, because... What the fuck is that? S&M?
Huh? Oh, that was just for some performance art we had for an event. Don't mind that.
Oh, God.
Okay. How do you think the media has portrayed you? Do you think that it's been fair?
The media went too far.
In what way?
Pronouncing my male name, pronouncing that I killed somebody back in year 2090, 91? Yeah, 91.
Okay, so that was a false accusation?
It's true accusation,
Okay.
but people shouldn't hold things against people that what happened 30 years ago.
Okay.
Um,
So you think the media should focus more on you and the work that you do in the trans community now rather than crimes you may have committed in the past?
Yeah, or forced to commit it. Forcing is basically how my daddy was treating me when I was little. He beat me up, he raped me, he tortured me, he forced me to work, beat me up every day. So if you had a childhood that way, how would you be brought up?
Mm-hmm.
You would think that you would be seeking attention other ways or crying help for other ways.
Okay. So you think that like you acting out earlier in your life, that was just a result of your hard childhood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And all I wanted to do is figure skate and play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother and father had 2 businesses. They both worked. We had an algae pool shape. We had pool table. We had everything. We were like high class, middle class back in the 80s. But now it's so hard.
And
I feel so sorry for people who are growing up now because it's so hard, so expensive.
Mm-hmm. So when did you move to Vancouver? And what caused you to move here?
For my surgery and for a career. This is what I'm doing right now.
Right, okay.
So I achieved my goals.
Yeah, for sure. So that wasn't possible back home?
No, I had to come to British Columbia. When Harper came in power, he took away mental health. He took away the transgender help. That's mental health. And it's also Trudeau's not doing a good job.
Okay.
I think he's very transphobic myself.
What gives you that impression?
Because when he was elected, his security guards, I got that on YouTube also.
Okay, what happened with that?
Basically the security guards were mocking me.
Oh, okay. At one of his rallies or?
No, when he first got elected.
Okay.
I'm like a paparazzi.
Where were these security guards? How did you know they were Trudeau's?
Because it was surrounded with Trudeau, right?
Oh, okay. And you also mentioned that, like, you feel that local politicians are corrupt as well. What?
Oh, I love to talk to David Eby, because David Eby also knows that I was mistreated. So if he knows that I was mistreated, I would love to have an interview with you, David Eby, and with the mayor right now. What's his name? Kennedy Stewart. We sort of know each other, so I would like to collaborate, and stop this corruption. That let's pick on certain people and let certain other people get away with murder or with criminal activity that shouldn't happen.
Do you think Stuart is handling Vancouver well right now?
I don't know. I haven't followed them.
Okay. What about like for your surgery? How much did that cost? Do you think it should be publicly funded?
I didn't pay for anything.
Okay. Where did you get that funding from? Was it public?
Under the old jurisdiction. And my
Okay.
doctor said I was very smart. So
Okay. Has that changed now? Like,
the whole punishment of going through the surgery, I had to wait for years to get my surgery.
okay.
Now nowadays, you could only wait 2 years or a year. Well, now why is it only that I had to wait so many years to transform back to a female when I was originally born as both genders?
Okay. So you were originally born intersex then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then did your parents choose for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or my daddy did. Whatever.
Hmm.
Fuck him. But I still love you. If you're alive still. It's been over 30 years, so I don't even know if you're alive or dead.
Was your
His birthday was like on November 30th.
Oh, nice. Was your mother supportive?
Oh, my mother dropped me off at her old workplace, and she said, "You're gonna wear some Montrouge. Bye-bye. See you later." No, she wasn't really supportive.
Okay. But she wasn't abusive?
In a way, she was.
Okay. But better than your
Well,
father.
dropping your child off and not doing anything about it is abusive.
Of course, yeah. Okay. How are we on time, Vanessa?
14.
Minutes left?
No, it doesn't. There's no signal. You're just almost on 15 minutes.
Okay, so we have about 10 more minutes left.
Then we're going to do the wrap up down 5-minute wrap up.
Yeah, so we'll talk for another 5 minutes. So if there's anything else you really want to talk about, just tell me to ask you and then I can. We'll edit this part out, obviously. And then the last 5 minutes you can talk about what you've got going on for like fundraising and stuff. Okay, so is there anything else that you wanted me to ask?
I just wanted you to open up what a conversation I had on the phone.
Okay, I
Yes.
thought we covered that with like the Carnegie housing situation. Is there anything else I might be forgetting?
It's just not fair. It's people say, well, that is life. It's not fair. But I think that's just an excuse people use, and people rather hide from the lies than the truth of facts.
So you think we need like fundamental systemic changes, like to our legal system and everything?
Well, the legal system is fucked.
Okay. What are your politics? Are you like, do you support communism? Are you a capitalist? What are your like political views like in that way? Are you more like liberal, more conservative?
I'm like liberal I'm like an NDP green.
Okay. So you believe that there should be more environmental action and more like social programs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you think should be publicly funded now that you have to pay for privately?
My clothing line.
Yeah, you think that... Do you think that people should have like there should be funding for like?
I think if I
business
had a
startups?
lot of money, I would also devote maybe 10% of my fundraisings to women and children, so they can have more money to deal with. More. It's like back in the Terry Fox days, right? He had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically the same.
Okay.
I don't like pollution. I don't like violators. I don't like criminals that get away with it. That's inclusive with the BDP, because half of them or 3/4 of them are criminals themselves. Okay, you can come to BC and not have a record, but they will find a way any way they want to get you a record.
Okay.
But that's how it is.
So you think that they arrest people without just
Unnecessary, yeah, unjustification. When I broke my ankle back in year 2003, now I want to talk about this.
Okay.
I'm an ex-roofer. I roofed for 10 years. Okay? Year 2003, I had my double fracture ankle. I directed traffic. I wanted to do something for myself and for the public because I had no other sources, I needed to do something worthy. So I became basically a picture for society, a role model.
Okay.
I started directing traffic, and the VDP and the ambulance and the fire department says, long time ago, like 20 years ago, it's like they wanted volunteers. So I volunteered my life to save your life.
But unofficially, so they didn't like that.
Huh?
But because you did it through unofficial routes, they didn't like that.
Basically, the cop says, well, one leg is broken, I'll break your other leg. I went up to the other cop and I said, excuse me, why don't you do my job? Oh, it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous for what? To be a cop? To be real? Is it too dangerous to be real? No.
Interesting. Okay, so you took it upon yourself to direct traffic because you want the
I
city
seen
to
an
be
elderly
safer.
lady get killed by a transport truck, and I said, that's enough of that. So I've been doing it for about 15 years or more, and I haven't caused any accidents, any people get a hit, nothing like that. And people come up to me and scream out their car, hey, roller girl, roller girl. You know, it's like, that gives me a lot of joy, but if they have the dignity of saying, hey, roller girl, why don't you stop for a second and say, hey, let's buy a clothing line. Let's get some movement happening.
Okay.
You know, this heart means my love for all. And hashtag legit is legit. And it means gays, lesbians, and trans. And it's also, everybody is in a transition of life. It doesn't matter where you are. You're newborn, or you're 30 years old, or you're 20 years old, or you're 10 years old. Everybody's in a transition of life.
Was it a conscious effort on your shirt? I see it says LGIT.
Let's get it!
Oh, let's get it. Okay, I thought it was lesbian, gay, intersex, trans.
Yeah, this is a self-conscious thing.
Okay, so it's like a double meaning. So
it's a triple meaning. Whatever
okay.
meaning that it means for you.
So you didn't try to leave out bisexual?
What's that?
Because usually it'd be LGBT.
Oh no, it's just, I just did it.
Okay, it was okay. So yeah, I think we're gonna start to wrap things up. Thank you so much for talking to us, Angela. If you want to talk about what you have going on right now, any fundraisers you may be running, now's your chance. So tell the people how they can find you and what you like to say.
Go for it. You say it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You know it better.
No. You go say it. Come on.
Okay.
Dope. She gonna be shy.
So Angela would like to talk about her clothing line. She sells these shirts just by herself, so you can track her down to buy one of those. She also just recently opened up her own clothing line online, so you can go on Bonfire/Roller Girl to find her shirts there and order them from her. I think she also has a GoFundMe. Do you want to talk about your GoFundMe?
I don't have that funded yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I need somebody to help me fund my shirts.
Okay. So, find her on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Roller Girl Vancouver.
Find her at Roller Girl Vancouver on Instagram to follow any updates, and she'll have links posted there for how you can contact her and support her. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah.
Please don't forget to vote for me in 2022. Parks Board. There should be more active and more active people. If people are not active, oh, how about if I was mayor, I would get rid of all the fat